I'm looking for something that I can compost with. I need a compost. And with worms, compost with worms. I might build a fort. We're in Walmart, by the way. I might build a fort in these composters, these worm composters. Can you pan for these worm composters here? I'm just kidding. But here's the deal. Look at this. This is a tote at Walmart. Just remember this shape, because I'm about to show you that there are major worm farms on the internet who are selling this for $99. Come here, Ants, take a picture. Let's get a video of that. How much does that say? $4.46, less than $5. You could have a $99 worm farm that they sell on the internet. All right, cut. Okay, so this is the bin that I found at Walmart. And as you can see, it's the same exact bin that you're about to see on the next site, and it was only for $4.46. The site says $4.96, but it was actually $4.46 that I paid, and that's what's on my receipt. And as you can see on this site, that's the exact same bin. Cent sticker to plug our worm farm. Shameless plug. But anyway, this is the bin that others are charging $99 for, with worms and some bedding. Looks like they have peat moss and some kind of worm food. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to make your own composting worm bin for $5. So here we go. This is cardboard. We're going to put some cardboard in there, and this is newspaper. We're going to shred up this newspaper by hand, and we're going to soak both of these. That's why they're in these black containers. We're going to soak them really good, and then we're going to fill this about 3/4 of the way up with this stuff, and then we're going to put the worms in there. So I'm going to go get some manure, because we're going to get some manure too. I'm going to show you that in a second. All right, well, this is Buford, and Buford's going to provide us with all of the poop we need for our worm farm. What I'm going to do now for the next couple hours is I'm going to sit under him with a cup and catch all the poop that he drops, and then I'm going to put that in the worm bin. That's a joke, by the way. He already did all his pooping. We're just going to go under here and scoop it up, and we're going to bring it up there to our worm bed. Right. Okay, so I scooped up a lot of Buford's poop, and that's all we're going to need for this worm bin. So we're going to now move on to soaking down all the bedding strips of newspaper and cardboard. This is going to be food, and then of course we're going to put all this stuff in the bin. Now, you might be wondering why we're not using peat moss. A lot of worm farmers use peat moss. Most of the commercial worm farms use peat moss. The reason that we don't is because peat moss is a non-renewable resource. And once those bogs are depleted, they're not going to be able to make any more. So we do not use peat moss in our worm beds. We use newspaper, cardboard, corrugated cardboard. This is the kind of cardboard you have to use. And we use rabbit manure. And that's it. We feed them. We also use some grain food to go on top of the worm bed, but this is a home composting unit, so for your sake, this is all you need. You need cardboard, you need paper, and you need a $5 bin, and you don't even need poop. You could use food scraps. So this is what we have to do. We have our bin, $5 bin from Walmart, not $99, $5, a little less than $5. So now all we're going to do here now is we're going to drill a few holes. The reason for that is because we want to be able to have some drainage. You shouldn't be putting a lot of water in your worm bed. Your bin should have just enough water so that you can barely get a couple drops out of it. So this is the newspaper that's been soaking, and if you see when I wring this out, there's a couple drops. That's it. And then when you put it in there, you don't just put it in all matted up like this. You got to make sure it's fluffy. So you want to make sure that the worms can move around in it, that you have good airflow, because you don't want it to become anaerobic. And we're not using peat moss, so that's a major a major reason why we have to make sure this is fluffed up. Peat moss would help aerate that, absorb a lot of the water. We don't have that luxury, so we have to make the holes, and we have to make sure that we keep it on the dry side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all this paper, I'm going to put a layer of paper in there and fluff it up like I just told you. And then on top of that, I'm going to put a layer of cardboard. You can see I soaked it, it's falling apart. So the corrugated cardboard's all the glue's letting loose. So you want to put a layer of that in. And then again, some more newspaper, but you want to squeeze it out and then fluff it up. Not a lot of water. All right, now that's about halfway full right now. And I'm going to add this. This is just sand. A little bit of regular play sand and garden soil. That's it. Nothing in there. And if you take a look, there's nothing in there at all except those things. And I'm putting that in the worm bed. So you might wonder why I'm doing that, especially because worms don't live in soil. They live in manure, and they eat stuff. They eat things like vegetables and rabbit poop. So why would we be putting sand in there? Well, worms, like chickens, have gizzards. And what that means is they use the sand to go into that gizzard and helps them to grind up the food. So you want to give them a little bit, maybe a handful or two, in with all your bedding, and then we want to put another layer of bedding on there. This way the worms could eat some of that sand and then chow down on all your good, clean, organic newspaper and cardboard. All right, so now we're almost 3/4 of the way full, and I'm just going to keep filling it up till we get to the 3/4 mark. Now, the reason that you're going 3/4, if we were using peat moss, we would probably be doing about 1/3 of this, but this will compact after, and that's why we want to make sure we have enough so that when it does compact, that the worms have plenty of area and food and things like that. So we're going to do that. I'm going to take this rabbit manure now and just sprinkle it in, and then add another layer again up to about the 3/4 mark, like I said. So, and it is definitely about 3/4 of the way full now. The manure now is covered. Everything is all fluffy, and that's that. So now I add the worms. So if you take a look, and I'll come to you so you can see this. I don't have a cameraman or a camera woman. I only have me and all these worms. So this is a couple thousand worms here. These are some breeders, but mostly bed run worms in a double bubble container. I chewed all that double bubble, by the way. And that's it. So you just take those worms, put them all in, make sure you got them all. And then you could either take a piece of black plastic from a plastic bag and cut it so that it lays on the top, but you have about 1 inch of airspace around every wall, so that your bedding gets air, so that the worms get the air that they need, so that the bedding doesn't become anaerobic. And then you can put the lid on it. I would not have a lid on normally. We don't use bins like this. We use beds and fields of beds and a whole bin breeding system. But this right here for the home composter, I would use the lid, especially if you don't have lights up over your worm bin, because these worms tonight will probably try to get out of here because they're not used to it. They're going to want to crawl. They're going to want to go back and live where they used to live, and they're going to go look for that, and they're going to try to get out of here. So having the lid on will help. If you have a light, you can put a light over that. You don't need to have the black plastic on the bedding if you're going to use the lid, but I like the black plastic because you get a lot of airflow. The worms stay right at the top of the surface and they eat everything right there. You can put food in. You could also give them a grain feed like we use, and they'll eat it right there on the top. And that's it. So this is how you create a $5 home composting bin. It's almost free. All you have to do is get the worms. That's it. Thank you.